Bienvenidas y bienvenidos to this amazing panel with the Academy Award nominations for the Best Animated Short. And we are thrilled to have an amazing panel, and we are also thrilled to have Ramin Saher, who is the editor-in-chief of Amazing Magazine. So welcome, Ramin, and thanks all of you for joining us and sharing this amazing creative content that we're going to be able to see in the link that we provided. So take it from here, Ramin. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jose, for the great introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Ramin Zahed, and I'm thrilled to be your moderator today. And we have an amazing panel with all the animated shorts nominees are here with us today, and I'm very proud to have them all joining us. Congratulations, everyone, for the nominations. And we know this year was a record-breaking year in terms of the number of animated shorts that were actually shortlisted. So you guys did an amazing job. You were able to land on 5 top positions. So congratulations to all of you. I'll tell everyone who is here right now, just going by the squares. We have close to me, Nathan Engelhardt and Jeremy Spears, director of Forever Green. And right next to them, we have Chris Lavis and Maciek Sherbowski, directors of The Girl Who Cried Pearls. You can wave when I call your name. Perfect. And then right below, we have the amazing Laurence Miel, director of Butterfly Papillon. Hello.
Hello.
And then down in the bottom squares, but equal as with everybody else, we have writer Tara Loa and director John Kelly, the creator of Retirement Plan.
Hello, everyone.
And here we go, Konstantin, Bronzit, the 3 sisters. Good to see you there.
Hello, Ramin.
All right, very good. Okay, let us talk about how your short came to be, your inspiration, and when you actually started to work on it. Konstantin, now you get to go first.
Oh, God. Inspiration, it's not my word. I hate it. Because when idea comes to me, it's like alien. It's just bites me inside. And only way to free myself from this alien to make film. It's not about inspiration. It's suffering every time because it's long way. Art with animation is art with lowest efficiency. All of us have to go long distance to reach minimal results. It's catastrophe. So there was idea. There was 3 sisters, nothing else, man, and I decided. Really, I realized that narrow edge situation, it comes one step aside to something funny, and one step aside, another side, it's tragedy, the drama. So it's like Charlie Chaplin's shorts, which I love all my life. That's all.
Yeah. And how long did it take to make your short?
Oh, 6 years.
6 years. Wow, that's a long time. Very good. Well, we're glad you made it. We're glad you let the alien out. Very good. All right, so next up, we have Nathan. Jeremy, tell us about Forever Green, your beautiful short.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for having us.
So we started, I'll start off, Nathan.
Sure.
We started 6 years ago as well. It's been a long process. Nathan being an animator, I'm a story guy. We always, we've been pals for years, and we thought, hey, maybe we could make something together between the 2 of us. And then that blossomed into this thing where we tapped into a lot more friends and other colleagues that also wanted to make this film with us.
Yeah, we was with 200 volunteers, and so everyone progressively came on film. But for Jeremy and I, the Forever Green was really born out of a desire to tell a story about unconditional love and undeserved grace. So as Christian guys, Jeremy and I have experienced this kind of amazing grace from God through what He did for us in Christ. So we are that bear character, and so this is kind of a story about our faith journey, but also it's a story about parental love. And a parent wouldn't do anything, including sacrifice himself for their child. So that's kind of where we, the nugget in the beginning of what we wanted to tell together. And then 6 years later, here we are.
That's amazing. Beautiful job. All right, I guess next we have Chris and Mashek. You can talk about your beautiful film, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, National Film of Canada short, and tell us how that came to be and how long did it take you guys to make this?
Well, I think we're embarrassed to say that the original idea came I think around 2004 or five, and it's been like a pebble in our shoe ever since. It began with this image of a girl weeping and pearls at her feet, and this kind of collision of two ideas, which is, I think, many probably, a lot of art just comes from a collision of two simple images, and we knew there was a story there and probably a fable, but we couldn't figure it out. So we just put that collision of images on a shelf for a decade. And then some kind of counterintuitive started happening, something that doesn't really sound like method at all. But it's strange that it developed this way, because we used to read interviews with authors who would talk about this almost metaphysical process that we weren't sure whether it's true or not, or whether they're making it up. But the idea that when you start to conjure a personality or character in your mind, there comes a point where they start building themselves outside of your control, and you don't actually have a choice over it anymore. They tell you where they want to go. That kind of happened. The something that we've never had happen to us before. We thought it was reserved for literature, but these personalities started to take shape and three-dimensional shape. At which point there were ideas which we couldn't force them to do. They instructed us on how they want to be manifested if they were to live. And I guess we were put in a weird position of having to listen and do what they asked us to do. Only then did it work.
So the dolls came alive, like Chucky, right?
Well, they came alive. They came alive in our
Exactly
minds.
like Chucky.
It was, yeah. I think the first interview we ever did on video, I was sitting left of Chris, and the first comment we ever got from the world was, "The dude on the left looks like Chucky." So it's only fitting. I thought Gollum, but okay.
No, definitely not. Well, thank you for that explanation and in the introduction to your short. And next, we have the lovely Florence. Florence, tell us about how the beautiful 2D animated short Butterfly, also known as Papillon, came to be.
Désolée de parler en français, mais mon anglais n'est pas assez bon pour pouvoir raconter tout ce que j'ai à raconter en anglais.
Florence was working on a feature film called The Crossing, but they had some trouble to get the fundings to make the film. So she started to think of another project and of another short film project. And she remembered of Alfred Nakache, because in fact she met Alfred Nakache when she was 10 years old, because she took swimming lessons with the brother of Alfred Nakache. And in fact, Florence's father knew Alfred Nakache because they met each other during the Second World War. And Florence's father admired a lot Alfred Nakache, both because he was a swimming champion, but also as a man. And so every time Florence went taking swimming lessons, her father told her, "You are learning to swim with the brother of a huge champion." But at the time, Florence was like 10 years old, so she did not. It did not hit her that much. And she don't know why. Years later, she started to do researches on the life of Alfred Nakache, and that's how she discovered the whole story of Alfred Nakache. And I think Florence wants to add something else. Vas-y, Florence. So she was really moved by the story of and the life of Alfred Nakache, but also by his relationship with water, because he died while he was swimming in the Mediterranean Sea in the south of France, and so she immediately thought of making the film with old relationship between water and Alfred Nakache. And in fact, she made the film like 10 years after having this idea. But the wing of making the film through the relationship of water, she never forget it, and that's how she made Butterfly.
Well, we're very glad that you had that encounter in the swimming pool so that you made this beautiful, beautiful short. Thank you. Thank you. And last but not least, we have Tara and John who are going to tell us all about their retirement plans.
Yeah, the genesis for this film, I mean, the short way of putting it is that I had a panic attack and then I turned that panic attack into a film. I think it sounds kind of a glib way of putting it, but it's actually sort of a culmination of things that I had been thinking about and combination of factors of going on in my life at the time. And it sort of formulated itself into this list structure about all the things that I wanted to do, and then eventually this character wanted to do before they died. And the perfect place to put that is in your retirement years. And yeah, the original idea was to stretch out that panic attack basically into a little stream of consciousness. I wanted it to hit audiences the same way it hit me, and kind of for age to sneak up on them the way it snuck up on me a little bit. And not just me, my parents and relatives, also my kids growing up like incredibly quickly. And I immediately turned to Tara, who's a good friend and an incredible writer based in New York, and said, Tara, do you have any interest in writing this with me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he asked me if I ever think about these things, and I said, yes, I think about dying all the time. And I've come to realize I might think about it more than the average person. But I think that really brought us to just thinking about like all the things that we wish we were doing in this moment, and making sure that we're really just that we're going to get to do all the things that we wish or hope to do on this earth before we meet our inevitable end. And that's hopefully a little bit about what this film's about.
Beautiful, beautiful. And when did you guys start working on this short?
Originally in 2022, but we got funding like a year later, 2023, and finished it a year after that in 2024. So the kind of production timeline from final script to final film was about a year.
Yeah, beautiful. So one thing that's remarkable about this year's selection is the diversity of styles and, of course, content. But each one of your shorts is just a beautiful example of a style of animation that we all love, and they're all very diverse, but they're all beautifully crafted. So for my next question, I want all of you to talk a little bit about the visual style and the specific medium and the style that you worked in, and why you thought that this would be the perfect style for this specific story. I guess going from the top row, I guess this time I'll go with Nathan and Jeremy, because they're CG crafted short. It has a very particular style of its own, which we haven't seen before.
We definitely had a strong desire to tell something that had a reason behind the technique of the wooden carved world. We love handcrafted animation. We got into this because we love 2D animation, and we love stop motion animation. There's something about seeing the artist's hand in everything. And so the thing with CG, as we all understand, is that it does perfect things very, very well. And so we thought, how could we trick ourselves into believing something is that as well? How can we trick computer? How can we build things into it that will give us, as artists, it'll give us a much more hand input into everything. So our animators, Nathan will explain to you. He'll explain the geekiness of how far we went with that, to give our animators those controls. But just in terms of the style of the world, I also served as production designer in the film, And I've been doing wood carving for years, and I've been kind of developing this sort of mid-century modern. I love that style. Nathan loves that style, but very faceted edges, and there's truth in materials in everything that we were trying to take from that style and put it into this film, where you see the worn off edges, you see the carve marks, and everything's very specific. But what was really fun for me is not only did I get to help really stylize this world, and push that style with our team, but I was able to talk about it very specifically from a an actual wood carving, how I would talk about it. I have this bear here, that I was able to go in and say, like, the tail should kind of be like that, and the carve marks could be like this, and the way the paint could actually sit on the form. So that was really the fun that we got to have. And then Nathan, yeah, continue
Yeah,
on.
the unique style or aesthetic, or even the tool that you're using, should really come out of the narrative of the film. So one of the reasons we want to do that, we wanted to have the bear look like it was carved from the tree. There's a there's a verse in the Bible in Genesis where it talks about God making man in His own image, and so kind of borrowing that in a sort of allegorical way, wanting to see the bear as if it could have been carved from the tree to sort of suggest this relationship, but also to really diversify them from the rest of the characters of the world. We had sort of an oscillating texture that would give kind of like uh, live boil to the silhouette, and the texture. We created a stop motion kind of texture swapping system that would mimic replacement animation and stop motion. Jerry mentioned we love stop motion and the tactile handcraftedness of it. So we really wanted it to feel as if it could have been a unique wood carving for every new frame of animation. And it almost served as a heartbeat to our characters. And these are the only two characters that oscillate in the textures like that. And that really start to accumulate in the viewer's mind. And so once the tree dies and there's no more oscillating textures, you hopefully really feel that in that moment where they're together and the bear's still oscillating and having that little heartbeat, but the tree isn't. So it served many different purposes, but definitely was grown out of the narrative and the need for the visual relationship between the two tree and bear characters.
Excellent. Very nice. All right, Konstantin, tell us about your 2D animated short and how you chose that style, your special style that we've seen before in your other Oscar-nominated shorts.
No, Ramin, it would be stupid from my side to start talking that in my style there is something special. It's absolutely stupid traditional dimensional drawings. It's nothing special. It's that's why I think it's one of the default of my film. Really, it's extremely archaic, old-fashioned film. But I'm not 22. So it's just I imagine when I realized what kind of story I want to develop, I immediately in my inside vision I have seen how much it looks, how have to it looks, yeah. So I start drawing. That's all. Yuri Norstein once said, very good thought. Limited funds I not about money. Yeah? Limited funds facilities give rise to laconism. That's what I thought about at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's nothing archaic about it, and we love 2D and your style. It's beautiful, and it really serves that story very well. So thank you for choosing that. Very, very good. All right, now we move on to The Girl Who Cried Pearls, a very stylish and painstakingly crafted short. Let's talk about your vision and why you love this style so much, this craft.
Sure, we love it. It's not the only thing we love, though, and it's not necessarily all we do. It's just that this was
when the story coalesced for us, it had a problem to solve, which is to say that it relied on pulling off an illusion. The illusion could only happen if we managed to appeal to the romantic side of the audience, the side that wants to believe in magic and fantastical things. The idea of I think of all the imaginable styles of animation that I guess either we're aware of or capable of, the idea of stop motion with puppets was the one that was intrinsically built to perform this twist, which is to say that you had to believe that the world was real, not aesthetically beautiful or compelling in some way, but actually there, existing in 3 dimensions. If you didn't believe in that world, then you wouldn't believe in the sort of the miracle of it. Since puppet animation truly exists in 3 dimensions, it catches and bounces light, it throws shadows, you know that it's there, it actually kind of does elicit from the audience a desire to it's tactile, you want to touch it, sometimes you want to lick it, sometimes it actually, you build it well enough, it can trigger an olfactory sense, it can make you, let's say the dust or the rot of it, or the aging of it can make you imagine that you're smelling these rooms, these spaces. So it kind of forced itself upon us. Luckily, we were able to deal with it, but it wanted to look like that, and we just it's not in a humility. We obeyed the idea. And I think puppets will meet most people halfway. There's a quote we found. I'll be honest, I found it on Instagram. When Instagram was not throwing people crashing their skateboards at me, it occasionally throws me movie quotes. And it was Orson Welles talking about puppets, and he said, "It's a very ancient art. It doesn't just go back to the crib; it goes back to the cave." And there's something, which means half your work's done before you even started. It's an ancient illusion. It worked 1,000,000 years ago, and we figured it would still work now. Also, there's the idea that, like, in the 3-dimensional space, we're dads now. We weren't before, but we've in the last chapter of our lives been raising little daughters, and we've been watching them or playing with them. Watching them, let's say, act out little scenes with their, as we call them here in Quebec, tutus. Wooden dolls with no expression, Barbies, if you will. And there's something about when you're watching kids playing with, even though you might be a professional puppeteer, when you're watching a child do it, it's completely self-conscious. They believe it. And when the puppeteer fully believes in what they're doing with an object, you believe it too. You have no choice. It's convincing to a point of 100%. They also, like, we used to be those kids, all of us, however old we are right now, we may have matured or whatever you want to call it, but it's hardwired in us. It's when you see a child use her little toy mouse to understand for herself the idea of death, an idea that they may not have been able to wrap their heads around, but one little mouse gets ill and lies down in a bed, and 2 other mice cover her with a blanket and stroke her forehead and tell her it's going to be okay. You're watching some of the greatest puppeteering of all history at that moment, and you know that it doesn't matter whether they're enunciating or blinking or any of that. It can convince you of any impossibility, any fantasy, and so it was. We almost had no choice.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you had no choice, because you made a beautiful choice for us. So thank you so much. And I guess, Laurence, of course, your movie is also painstakingly crafted with oil on glass, a style that you also used in your César winning movie, The Crossing. a few years ago. Tell us about this style of animation and why you like working with this, and also how it translates with the sequences of water and swimming in your short.
Oh, zut, j'ai raccroché.
So, Florence has been working with animated painting for a long time now because she directed her first short films like 30 years ago. So it's been a long way. She really loves animated paintings. It feels like it's like stop motion, but in 2D. Because you draw one painting, then you take a picture, then you erase the painting, then you redraw another painting. So it's kind of stop motion. And at first, France was learning painting, so she started to work with paintings, and it was kind of a natural thing to go in animation through paintings. And she also really loved the fact that, like, painting are like alive, and you can easily share emotions and feelings with paint. So that's something she really likes, and I think she has something else to add.
Et donc, et en particulier pour ce film-là,
For this particular short film, the water is really important. It's like the common thread of the whole short. So she tried to work with paint in different way, so she can like show the water through different technique. And so sometimes you made the discovery by accident because you can't control everything. And so sometimes she expressed water in a specific way that she did not succeed to do in the same way in the next shot, but it's okay. You in animation you can't control everything, and also transitions are really important. In the shot, there are a lot of transitions. Sometimes you see Alfred Nakache, the young man, then an older man. And so that was also really helpful to work with paint because it allows to look like transition. So that was really something important for Florence. And one last thing, it's that Florence, for this film, it was really important to show the movements, like the movement of the swimming and everything. And the drawings do not have to be like really precise. So she really loves to show things in an abstract way, and that was like it was paint allowed, to show things like that.
en fait, le mouvement doit être précis, mais chaque dessin n'a pas besoin de l'être.
The movements needs to be like very precise, but the drawings do not need to be
Chaque
like very
dessin,
perfect.
each drawing.
Each drawings do not need to be perfect.
Perfect. Well, short is perfect. So, all right. Now, John and Tara, your short also manages to balance humor with some poignant sections, and it really hits you when you least expect it. Tell us about how the visuals really helped you and the decisions that you had to make to kind of walk that tightrope.
Yeah, it took a while to get there. I mean, I think it's really interesting to say also that all of these films have found their perfect medium. I don't think it's impossible to imagine any of them made with a different technique. I think it's like Maciek said, you have to listen to the idea and see what it tells you and where it leads you. My background is mostly stop motion and puppetry recently, but I always think of an encounter I had in college in animation, at the Royal College of Art, where we would pitch our ideas, and the question was always, well, why is it animated? And I have a problem with that question because I think if you take that to its ultimate conclusion, then every animated film has to have, talking robots and go into space and dream sequences and all of this sort of stuff. I actually think all of that stuff is amazing and it's great, and animation has that power to do anything, take you anywhere. But I also think animation has the power to like really microscopically observe an emotion and a feeling and a moment and capture like a little slice of life that couldn't be shown in any other medium in that way. And so, yeah, for the first time, I use my drawings in the final output. Traditionally, they're only ever, not since my comic book days as a teenager, have they been kind of seen beyond storyboard. And because we're kind of capturing these moments where the character is having these introspective little synapse pops and little kind of realizations and experiences, and he's standing beside a coffin of his dead friend, or he's making meatballs, or he's at an orgy. Most of these are like, well, you're watching him kind of taking it in, and I think we wanted to allow room for the audience to project onto the character. And the character, I always think of, when you think of like really simple character design, I go back to my childhood obsession with, like a lot of us probably, Wallace and Gromit, and you give like Feathers McGraw, how little you need on a character. It's two dots and no mouth, no eyebrows, teeth, or anything like that. And then it's, the audience fills in the rest. And so that's what we wanted to achieve visually with this film.
Did a great job. And because a lot of our viewers are probably making shorts in their spare time right now and hoping that one day they'll shorts become recognized one day. I mean, I said there were 113 shorts that were actually qualified this year to be on the short list, which then became 15 and then became 5. What do you think, since you made it, what kind of advice would you give them? Because you were able to grab everyone's attention and people fell in love with your shorts. What do you think is the best way to, festival route, or what is the best way to get attention? And of course, here we have Constantine, your short have been nominated before, Laboratory Love Story, We Can't Live Without the Cosmos. And of course, Chris and Czech, your short, Madame Tutti Pluti, 2008. Got nominated, and of course, all of you have experiences with the crazy madness of award season. Just last week, you were rubbing shoulders with Leo DiCaprio and all the bigwigs at the Oscar luncheon. Tell us what the audience needs to know about this long route to Oscar glory.
Like for us, we've discussed this before. It's not a cop-out to the question here, but there comes a point where when you're finished the film, it's a grown kid, and you do not chaperone it to the dance anymore. You let them go with their friends, and it's actually none of your business what they do. They're autonomous. If you did your job well, they can speak for themselves. And also, to even try to answer that question creates a kind of formalistic problem. Like, we recognize that our role as its makers has become unreliable. As narrators right now, you shouldn't trust us. We don't even trust ourselves. We're still wrapped up in a mythology about it, but that is no longer accurate. The film needs to speak for itself, and if it has nothing to say, then we can't correct that anymore. But part of it is that we try to leave an open-endedness in our work, which, as John was saying, you get to infuse yourself into it as an audience and finish the sentence, complete the picture. And I think if we manage to build something that can accommodate that, then hopefully it will live with you longer. Hopefully it'll invite debate between you and other people or your friends who maybe watched it with you, and last. It won't be something that exists only for the time it was on the screen, but stick with you as maybe a problem that maybe you'll fix with time. But more than that is an imposition, I think.
I'll hop in there. I would say my experience with this has just been having something that's a fun. There's an element of fun. Like, you got to be getting enjoyment out of this, and that if you're going to stick with something all the way to the end, it has to be something you care about, something that's personal is helpful. for sure, because it's going to be hard. These things are hard to finish, and then just, I would say just from our experience and just hearing everyone's story here today, tell something that's true. Tell something that everyone can come around and say, I know that story. That character is me, or that is inspiring to me, or that is there's something that can get down deep and resonate. So find those ideas that resonate a truth, because then that's something that we all can appreciate and enjoy, when your film is done. So there you go.
That's good advice. Stick with the truth, huh? There you go. All right, who else? Who wants to go next? John and Tara?
Yeah, because I read while I was making the film, I was reading a lot of film books. One of them was Ed Zwick, the director of Glory and Blood Diamond and stuff like that, and he has a really gossipy memoir, which is fun. But one of the things he says is he has this New York cartoon which he has stuck to his wall, which I printed out and stuck to my wall. I don't know if you can see that now, but it's like it's this guy in a typewriter and he's surrounded by dogs. And then his wife is standing there looking a bit fed up, and she just says, the caption is, "Write about dogs." And kind of think about that a lot. It's so obvious. And it's exactly, I think it's, Jeremy's saying, make something personal. But it sounds obvious because it's true, because once you can hook onto something it doesn't have to be literally about your life, but if it's really connected with you, rather than outwardly trying to think out what people will like. If Tara and I had sat down to write an Oscar-nominated film, we wouldn't be on this call.
Yeah. And I also just think like there's been talk on the call of aliens and the metaphysical and God and panic attacks on airplanes. Like I think with all of us, we just have to somehow get ourselves to the place that you can let those things flow in, because that's where you create. So however you can get yourself out of the bullshit voice in your head that's saying that you're trash and and into the place where all those visitors can come and get you, that's how we make more things.
Eh bien, Florence.
C'est à cause du décalage horaire.
She wanted to say one last thing, but she forgot because of the jet lag, So it's really hard for Florence to go after everyone because she agrees with everyone of you. She agrees that there is no like magic recipe for making a successful short film. But one advice would be that when you make a short film, you have to make it for you and not for the other, not for like specific, not to be in festivals, not to be nominated. At first, it needs to be like a project for you, and then you want to share this story to the audience, and also you have to feel like it's really a need deep down inside you to share this story, because it's a lot of time making a short film. So it's really important so that you feel this in your bones, and then after the audience will love the film if you are like sincere in what you share in the film.
Qu'est-ce qu'on transmet aux autres de sa propre expérience, en fait?
It's also like like personal memories or experiences are also a huge inspiration for Florence, because of course you want to share specific like feelings to the other, so it's really what's like your personal feelings. It's kind of an inspiration for the film. For example, she made a short film about the Turkish bath, and she really wanted to express what you feel when you are in this bath, because it's what she remembered. Sorry. So yeah, personal feelings are really important.
Excellent.
Et
Excellent.
comment on le transmet? Yes.
And yeah, you share it to the audience.
Okay, Constantine, now it's you have the last word on this. So make it very profound. Make us feel it in our bones, as
Le
Ferrand
pauvre.
said.
Well, guys, all of you see how poor my English is. It seems to me I didn't understand your question.
That's
Sorry.
okay.
Maybe I will skip the answer, not to lose your time, guys. It's
No, just you can just give any kind of advice to young people making animated shorts.
that's question.
Yeah.
Okay.
How to get nominated.
I see now, at least. Yeah. Yeah. I'm absolutely, if I understand right, of answers from Florence, she said right thing, absolutely. If you make your film and at the same time think how to win Oscar, you will got nothing. Impossible. One important thing is to make what you do is sincerely, honestly. You must dedicate yourself only stuff what you do, and then only in this case this can touch at least somebody. It will for sure touch somebody. That's important. How many people will be touched? We don't know, but at least you should honestly work. That's all.
That's great. That's good advice. Now we have a few more minutes. This is the time we use to bash AI. Who wants to talk about AI and what it's doing to the animated shorts world? Who wants to talk about it? We have about 5 more minutes left of our panel. How do you feel about it? They're even like, I saw that there are whole festivals devoted to AI shorts now, which is crazy. But how do we all feel about it? Be brave now. Come
I
on.
think AI is just it's a tool, and I think people will abuse the tool and will try to find ways to make things with it. I'm not particularly concerned about it because it's soulless. And I think what you've just heard from everyone on this panel is that they're dumping in personal experience and their soul, their heart and soul into it. So by definition, a machine, right, doesn't have that soul. So it is just a tool, and you can choose to use it or not. I think it's up to the user to know exactly when it starts to become like we've seen the generative AI stuff where you just push a button. Well, that doesn't feel like a work of art. That's why it's called a work, because you have to labor over it. And I think that everyone here has worked so hard on all of their films for many years in some cases. I know we were 6 years. I heard other people say six as well, and 2, 3, whatever. We're talking about years of work with sometimes it's just one person working really hard at that. And sometimes it's, in our instance, 200 volunteers trying to work at creating a piece of art. That is a labor of love. And so I think that's something that AI will never be able to replicate.
Florence.
Je pense qu'effectivement, les films qu'on a vus là montrent que...
Luigi.
Yep. So Florent thinks that the five shorts are the perfect example of why we do not need AI. And also, what she really likes is that in animated paintings or in stop motions, sometimes you made mistakes without wanting to. You made mistakes, but then you have to think how these mistakes will become a strength for the film. And so that's something that she really loves to work on while making the film, because we know that some AI creates music with like false notes, in the music to make it kind of real. But it's like the AI wanted to create this false note. It's not like a real mistake. Whereas when you are making film, it's a real mistake, and you see it first as a weakness in the film. So, and then after you have to think about how will it become a strength in the film, and that's something really important for Florence. And she thinks that as long as AI is a tool, were fine, but let's hope it will not like become more than a tool and not like a creative tool or something like that.
Okay, great. Jose, do we have more time, or is it a hard 60 minutes? Is it a hard cutoff?
It's a hard cutoff. We can spend 1 or 2 more minutes in case anybody wants to add anything.
Yeah, 1 or 2 minutes. Your final thoughts. Anybody wants to wrap everything up in 2 minutes?
Yeah. I just say, it does feel like AI there's going to be a lot of animation for sure. I think that's unavoidable. But I also think, like all of these things, it's a pendulum swing, and I think you'll see a reaction against all of this super slick stuff that's going to be coming out that's soulless, as Nathan said. And I think it'll be a return to, appreciating craft on another level, certainly stop motion, but also true stories as well. I think will have a lot more worth and theater experiences. And I think people will just really start to have a heightened sense of what's authentic and what's true. So I like to think some positivity will come out.
That's great. Well, we're gonna leave on that positive note, because that's a very good place to end this wonderful panel with you all. Thank you for making authentic, heartfelt shorts that kind of nourish our souls, make us feel great about being human and in this crazy world. Thank you for giving us beautiful art. Thank you for your time. I know some of you are jet lagged from all around the world. Thank you, Jose, for all your help with Pixelatl, the festival 7th and 8th in Zapopan and 10th to the 14th in Guadalajara. Is that correct? Excellent.
That is correct.
And you can always read Animation Magazine to find out more about all these shorts. And thank you for letting me moderate this panel, everybody.
And thank you to Benoit and his team and the Animation Showcase for organizing this panel. Thank you, everybody. And thank you to our audience that was able to join us today. Muchas gracias. And
Thank
adios.
you, everyone.
Muchas
Thank
gracias,
you so much.
adios.
Muchas gracias.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.